15 love.
Be careful if you leave a space down there, even this early in the match. Most players are just trying to find range. What a beautiful backhand.
Et 40 love.
Very nice opening game for Djokovic.
No indications of a lack of speed on the serve there. High quality serving with good KPH from the world #1 there. So that's a good sign for the wrist. It was this week last year. He was playing the first week of the season down in Adelaide in an ATP 250. He'd win that title, but he would come away injured in his leg, and that would hamper his efforts at practicing during the Australian Open, but it didn't hamper the end result, which was another title with Timph in Melbourne Park on an injured leg. So even with a slight problem, and it was more than slight, I thought the leg last year, he's still the man to beat. So I wouldn't put too much stock in the wrist as of now. We'll hope that will hold. No problem holding serve, that's for sure, in the opening game.
Net. Second service.
Sometimes you have to win a point 3 times against Novak.
$15 love.
This is the overhead that he should have got away right there. Gives Novak another chance to stay in it. Well, Team Czech Republic playing for pride in this tie here today. Regardless if they beat Serbia, they cannot make the quarterfinals. That's by virtue of losing 3-love to China in their opening match, and Lehecka lost in 3 sets to Jung. So he's trying to build that confidence that you were talking about, Jim, that he got last year.
Lehecka started off in that match against Zheng Zhizhen playing pretty well. It was a hot day, and they played in the daytime, and he was able to capture the opening set, but then he kind of fell away physically as the match wore on. I'm sure he was ready for the heat. Much cooler conditions today in Perth. Weather's not his problem. It's this guy.
He's got quite a big serve, but it's a flat serve, and it doesn't deviate much when it hits the court, and it won't trouble Djokovic at all, will it? He's one of the best returners in the game, but when it's just coming onto the racket nicely, expect him to get a lot back in play. And that's a good place to serve to Djokovic if you're able to jam him, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Novak never actually asked him if he wears a long jacket, you know, for a suit jacket, but I suspect his arms are longer than standard for someone his size. It sure seems like it. And that's what gives him great width on the return, that wingspan, but it can also work against him if you go with the body.
Very positive opening hole to serve for Lehecka.
One game over. Love 15.
I don't think it's necessary.
15 all.
Any idea what that was about, Fitzy?
No, I couldn't hear it, Todd. I wondered whether it was to do with
The
crowd
lights
noise.
are on,
I think it's to do with the sunroof, guys. I think he was referencing the way that the roof is partially closed at the moment. That's what I gleaned from that. They played it in the evening. He shakes that wrist off violently after that miss. He hasn't played in the day at match time anyway. You can see the roof, it's closed to a sunroof type format that just simply allows whatever light there is coming from the sun to go directly onto the court and keeps the crowd in shadow. That didn't look like that felt very good.
Yeah, the roof is not always symmetrically open, is it? Sometimes there's a bigger gap on one side according to where the sun is in the sky. So maybe that's what he's referring to. But that was a worry, Jim, the previous point regarding the wrist.
Gordy Nisevic, top right of the screen, just in the back row there, day-to-day coach for Novak. lend a hand to Viktor Troicki, the captain, if needed.
Use.
Started pretty well, hasn't he? Esky, he's certainly not afraid to trade some shots here with the #1. Good athlete.
Could you repeat his last name for us, please?
Not while Novak's serving.
Good excuse. Not letting you off, Fitzy. Did you call him Lesky?
That would have been a silent H, I guess.
Let's try Lehecka. Let's go with that one.
Well, it is confusing when you hear different pronunciations of first names as well as last names, isn't it? I noticed Viktor Troicki didn't use the same first name pronunciation as most of us.
The worst people with player names are the players themselves. They can't pronounce anybody else on tour's name. It is like, you want to have some fun, take a camera in the locker room and ask them to pronounce other players' names. You will get it all over the shop. And we were all guilty as charged in our day in the locker room too.
Ball striking at its best, and it's a holder serve for Novak Djokovic. 2-1 first set.
Team is 2 games to 1.
That's mystery has been solved. Mo Leoni is asking to turn some of the lights off that are on during the day. That's what Novak must have been asking him about. Saying it's not necessary. That makes sense. There you can see the lights that they keep on. Even when the sun is shining on the court as it is right now. Let's see if they stay on or if Novak gets his way and Mo gets his way and turns them off.
Minule bylo teda trošku víc, ale že má být 15 minut, no. Ale když půjde hrát
Todd Woodbridge alongside Ishin Courier. Having a little bit of fun here today in the booth as we watch one of the greatest that's ever played the game. And that last point, the previous game, was just such incredible ball striking.
At time.
And you could see there was Novak reacting to a little bit about the sight and lights. And so the lights are on in the stadium because it's been quite an overcast day. But once the sun does start to break through, which it's doing right now,
I think Troicki is going to ask him about that right now.
we really don't need it because it's bright sunlight. It's actually very bright. It's been a much nicer day to be able to be out watching here in the RAC Arena.
And Mo Leoni did get on his walkie-talkie and talk to some other people about perhaps getting those lights switched off at Novak's request. It's not an unusual request from him. We've seen it multiple times at the US Open when he's been in a match that starts in the day and moves to the night, and they put the lights on a little bit earlier than he thinks is necessary. He certainly is not afraid to speak his mind, let him know that he doesn't think it's the right time for it. Doesn't always get him switched off, but sometimes does.
Catches the back edge of the line, that one.
At 15 all. Yep. At 15,
Well, I mean, there's so
30.
many hard things to do when you come up against Novak, but would one of the hardest be trying to come up with a game plan and a tactical plan and stick to it?
Where's the weakness?
Exactly. Yeah, so
Doesn't exist.
So how do you approach it? Do you approach it? I'm going to play everything at Mark 1. Because that's what's happening here. Lehecka just going out on every ball beat.
40.
Yeah, well, the three of us were lucky enough to play some of the game's greatest players like Sampras and Lendl and McEnroe, but there were always weaknesses to find in their games, and there
You could
are
get
not.
a breather, couldn't you?
Correct.
Within it.
And that doesn't exist with Novak. So it's hard for us, I think, to even imagine what it's like to challenge
30,
the complete
40.
set. And here comes a chance for Novak to gain control in this match. Break point.
And 2 of them saved. Nicely played.
Use.
The reality is Novak is as good as he's ever been, and that's saying something, but he also is human, and he is beatable. He's yet to have an undefeated season. He's come close. So you've got to ply your trade if you're Lehecka and hope that Novak is slightly off. That's really your only chance. Stay with it.
That's phenomenal. What a shot. Gee, he's hit that baseline, I think, 3 times in this game.
Advantage, Team
And you
Serbia.
know, the strength of Lehecka here is that his ground strokes are awfully good, but maybe just not quite as good as Novak, as you'd expect. And so if he plays this same game, it just seems like Novak might have him covered.
Out.
Missed one. That's like a pressure valve. You rarely see that. The relief when that happens is palpable.
Ball, please.
One of the things that you get when you come to watch tennis live
Team
is an
Serbia.
appreciation of the speed, the power in the shots, the speed of the athlete in and around the court. And a rally like that Usually has the crowd in awe of what these guys are able to produce. And it's a third break point opportunity for Djokovic. And he gets it this time. Wonderful return, sets up a pass.
I mean, we all try to think of ways, and it's very difficult, almost impossible against Djokovic. And I don't mind someone serving a volley, but the problem for Lehecka here is that his volleys are not as good as the rest of his game. So he just didn't do anywhere near enough with that backhand volley. He was in at the net. He had to penetrate with that to have a chance to win the point.
And 15 love.
How long does it take to turn off the lights? That's the question he's asking. Mine take about as long as it takes for me to get over to the switch and flick them. How about yours, Todd?
Well, you're still finding the center of the racket, even if you can't see.
30 love.
Yeah, you wonder, Jerry Armstrong is here, veteran supervisor. He's courtside. I can see him not far from Fitzy. Perhaps there's just a rule in effect that those lights are going to stay on during the day, and Novak's not aware of that. We're certainly not aware of that.
I think the bigger issue of the lights is that they're actually, for tennis, they really do need to be on the sides, and there is some lighting that sits as you look up directly behind both ends of the court. And so it's quite easy to sort of glance for the higher ball. You see that's on the side, so that's perfect, but it's at the other ends that can make it difficult.
Especially on an overhead.
Yeah, very much so.
That's what got him to tennis there, but that's when Novak reacted to the lights, was after he hit the overhead. Go Fitz.
Oh, Jim, I feel for him because, he's realising that from the back of the court, he's not winning the majority of points. He's winning a reasonable share of them. But this is not a play to come forward on. The backhand of Djokovic is renowned for making you play like that and not missing. It's so hard to attack that side, and he's coming in off it. On that, he's going to always have to play a difficult half volley. So that one didn't make contact with the strings. It's a tough way to win a point for him.
Let.
Accuracy, power, athleticism, all in a bundle. It's tough to beat. Djokovic, hold serve, got 4-1 first set.
Team Serbia lead 4-1.
depth and the accuracy, and as I said, the power that goes. He has this incredible ability to just hit the spots. Look at the way he spreads the court. Short, wide through the forehand, which allows him to drive hard, deep down the line. And eventually, his opponent doesn't have the legs to get there anymore.
On je rekao treba da isključi, sad kaže da ne zna se još, jel? Pa ko odlučuje ovdje? Hoće supervajzora, zovi supervajzora. Hoću da mi daju objašnjenje, zovi supervajzora, hoću objašnjenje.
Novak wants a word with the supervisor, which is Jerry Armstrong. Jerry has his walkie-talkie in his ear and seems to be getting ready to come onto the court to problem solve this situation with the lights. So we'll get some information here in a minute.
That's Jerry climbing over the fence, walking down to the right. See him in the navy blue shirt. Okay. That's a view outside of the RAC Arena. Overcast skies in Perth today, not as warm as it has been throughout the tournament, but perfect for play. And Novak, he wants those turned off. Don't think he got exactly what he was after there with Jerry Armstrong. We'll find out though in a few minutes. Clearly a perfectionist, Novak.
15 love.
And it would seem, as we've called many of his matches, that there are times when he looks for something to keep fire, keep the focus and the intensity required within matches. Is this one of those?
Might be. And lately, in the last year or so, he's really been finding people in the audience to drive him, people who are cheering for his opponent. And he has singled out people to prove wrong and use that as motivation, but most of this crowd's for him. Jerry Armstrong, incidentally, the supervisor, after that discussion with Novak, did not go back to his seat. He went underneath into the belly of the arena to go, I'm sure, find out why exactly the lights are on, because even he seemed surprised that they were on. Now, this is not your traditional open-air tennis stadium. This is a retractable roof. The roof is partially closed. I would say more closed than open, or at least 50% closed. So perhaps that factors into why the lights are on. They've been this way the whole tournament.
Yeah,
in
and
the
the
day
roof,
matches.
the roof is adjusted to keep the crowd
15.
and the fans in the shade.
Yep.
Just gets the daylight, direct sunlight on the playing surface, so it moves throughout the day's play. Do similar things at Melbourne Park, as well as you've mentioned. US Open have done that.
Certainly nothing wrong with his tennis. It's high level, it looks effortless. But you can understand that he might be agitated given that he had the wrist issue earlier today, and that seems to be bothering him slightly from a pain standpoint, and the knowledge that he's going to have to win 4 sets today 2 in singles and 2 in mixed doubles. Long day at the office ahead for Novak. That'll keep you on tilt.
Unsure how to win points, isn't he, Fitzy?
Look, he just doesn't have the feel to hit those shots enough. That takes years and years of full-on practice. Not just that's where Novak is so good. He's mastered the technique and the ability to hit every shot in the book, every shot. And when he has to hit a drop shot like that, he generally makes it. He really looks a little bit. He looks a little bit out of his comfort zone when he goes for shots like that, and that's ultimately probably caused him to lose his serve again there.
Novak Djokovic trying to level for Serbia.
Team Serbia lead 5-1.
Marketa Vondrousova defeated Olga Danilovic in the opening match in 3 sets to give a lead to Team Czech Republic. However, this group is now down between China and Serbia. Serbia defeated China in their opening match. Sets for and against already. Against the Czech Republic, they cannot stay in this group, nor can they make the 4th spot here, which is the best performer that doesn't win their group. So we have 3 groups here. They all go through to a quarter. If Serbia are to win this today, Djokovic wins this singles, and then somehow they come out to win the mix, they will play Australia in the quarterfinals tomorrow. And Poland would play China. And if Serbia does not win this, that means that tomorrow Poland would take on Serbia and Australia would take on China. And then the winners of those quarters will travel to Sydney for the semi-finals.
Left for service.
Beautifully dispatched backhand from Novak Djokovic. And with it, Team Serbia has 2 set points.
Net, second service. (40-30).
A rare unforced error and a double fault from Novak, first of the match.
First set.
But he cleans up a very tidy first set for Team Serbia. 35 minutes, and Djokovic takes the opener, 6-1.
Well, if there's any problem with the wrist, it was not evident in the level of play from the world #1. 65% first serves in play. That's stock standard for him. And 5 unforced errors, sure, but he had 9 winners to go with that. And Lehecka felt the pressure to try and somehow get the ball past Djokovic. That didn't work. 12 unforced errors, and he only had 8 winners. A very highly aggressive set from the Czech player, but just pushing the envelope a little too far. And Novak very successful at the net as well, Todd. Everything looking good on the surface for Novak. A little agitation with the lights is still in play, but no real agitation on the scoreboard at all. Quick for the peek of the highlights here. Novak on the front foot, finishing nicely there. The full arsenal, the good returns, defense, the down the line backhand threading the needle. All the brilliance on display.
Well, Novak doing what he had to do. He needs to win this match to help his country win the group to go through to the semi-finals, and that, Fitzy, was a very clean set of tennis. And I know that you had an opportunity there during this changeover just to find out what is happening with the lights.
Yeah, reasonably simple. Jerry Armstrong came back past me, Wimbledon referee and in charge of this event, and also Pam Whitecross from the WTA. They both come past, and I said, what can you share? And they said, well, look, it's been like this all week. These same lights have been on every match. They're not going to turn them off. What they are going to do is open the roof a fraction more, not totally, but try to ease the roof open a bit more so that it lets more natural light in and takes away some of the artificial light. They're a bit afraid, I think, Todd, that if they turn the lights off and then the situation requires it, they won't be able to get them back on. Certainly not fast enough, so they're not going to turn them off.
Yeah, fair enough too. And I'm not sure if I'm sure our cameras can get there, but the roof has opened. Probably about another third wider than what it was, but that's interesting signs there. Novak getting some treatment. It's sort of the wrist and the forearm, so it looks like there's a bit of tension in the muscle. I don't know, what do you call that muscle that runs from the
forearm?
Just forearm, simple as that?
That's what I would go with.
Yeah.
I've had wrist trouble in my racket hand during my career. I'm very familiar with what he's dealing with from what it looks like based on the treatment. A little bit of pain in the wrist, and it does kind of reverberate up the arm a little bit towards your elbow, and almost feels like can feel like fatigue in that muscle. Of course, they have great treatments these days with lasers and things like that to help take that pain and inflammation away. But first match of the season, and he played singles and doubles a couple days ago at high intensity. They needed that, and he was able to come good in the mixed doubles just before midnight on New Year's Eve with Danilovic, and it seems like it's been a bit of a shock to the system. I know in talking to some of his team, he did not practice at all yesterday, but they were not aware that there was a wrist problem yesterday. That was more managing his energy levels with the jet lag coming from the Middle East.
Well, jet lag is one thing, but I used to have an issue with what was called golfer's elbow, not because of playing golf, but on the inside of the elbow, which that forearm deals with, and travel used to really inflame that for me. It took me a few days for that to really settle down. Serving was difficult on arrival into a new tournament after even just an hour's flight. So we're set now. Set number 2. This is Lehecka serving. So I guess the thing here for Novak's fans is he's now put them in the sun. They need to get the hats on and the sunscreen out, because the roof has widened significantly and you can see the more natural light in the stadium now. Have you got your hat, Fitzy?
Why did I know you were going to ask me that, Todd? Yeah, no, I don't actually, and I'm right on the verge, I think, of where the shade starts and the sun begins. So, and I'm sitting on the western side of the stadium, so the shade will come past this area again shortly.
Lehecka looking for a stabilizing hold of serve to open up the second set. So far, so good. 40-love.
$40-15.
That's well done. So good start for Team Czech, taking on this all-time great. Novak in 2023 authored one of the greatest seasons we've ever seen in men's tennis. One of his best for sure. Won 3 of the 4 majors, went 27-1 in Grand Slam competition, just 1 set shy of the natural Grand Slam. Only lost to 6 players all year long. Jannik Sinner got him twice. Everyone else got him 1 time, including Alcaraz at Wimbledon, Medvedev in Dubai. So he's beatable, but it's not easy to do it. So what did Jannik Sinner, the only player to beat him since Wimbledon, what does he offer that challenges Novak? He beat him in the Tour finals, and then he beat him the next week in the Davis Cup final as well. Now, Djokovic did beat him in between those matches in the Tour finals because he lost in the round robin, then clipped him at the end of the tournament. What Sinner has is unmistakable power everywhere. Forehand, backhand, serve. He's like, for me, he's this young generation's version of Stan Wawrinka. He can just nuke the ball off the forehand and the backhand wing, and he's a big server.
He also has a pretty good coach, Jim, Jannik Sinner.
Yeah.
15 love.
Simone Vignozzi, the Italian, is phenomenal. That's who you're referring to, right?
Yeah, he's good too. But Darren Cahill is our mate, and look, he's had a track record of looking after #1 players in the world. The track record's there.
Darren and Simone have done an amazing job helping shape a very talented player in Jannik Sinner. And if I'm Michael Navratil, who is Jiri Lehecka's coach, who's courtside here today, I would try to use that as a template to take on Novak. He's got a big serve, does Lehecka. He's got plenty of power. He's similar in size to Jannik Sinner. He's actually more muscle-bound than Jannik, but about the same height. You got to go big or go home. Because just playing your normal level of tennis fitzies, all that's going to do is get you home sooner.
Yeah, look, I can't disagree with any of that. You know, you just can't play within yourself. You have to reach some boundaries to have a snowball's chance, I think. He was feeling his wrist again there, Jim. It's worrying me a little bit.
Game Team Serbia. One game on.
Representing his country is so important for Novak. He played deep into the season trying to win a Davis Cup for them last year. They fell short. It was Italy and Sinner who would lift that trophy He's not going to go down without a fight here, but ultimately what he came to Australia for is the 11th Australian Open. I mean, he'll finish this match off, but I think if he's on the court for the mixed doubles, that'll be a good indication, Fitz, that the wrist isn't possibly as bad as it might be. He doesn't have to play the mix. There are other players who could jump in for him if need be. Hamad Medjedovic, a good young 20-year-old Serbian, is on the bench. He could jump in.
Left for service.
Well, particularly when we know that they're going to go through. It just depends on who they want to play. You know, do they want to play Poland in the semi, or would they prefer to play Australia? Oh, sorry, the quarter, not the semi.
Left first service.
I'd imagine, given that Poland have 2 top 10 players, world number 1 and world number 9, you would be looking at wanting to play the Aussies. Tell you what, the Aussies in the mixed doubles last night against the USA played one of the best mixed I've seen for a very long time. That was a clutch effort by them to win the group.
Lot 30. $15-30.
That body serve's worked a couple of times. It's something that Lehecka should persevere with, I think.
Left for service. $15-40.
Well, Jim, at least he's pressing. I mean, like you said, if you were coaching him out there, I think you would tell him to at least go for it, and that's what he's trying to do this game. But you run a fine line, don't you?
Well, there is an early break already for Team Serbia. Djokovic up 6-1, 2-1.
Team Serbia lead 2-1.
One of the unfortunate things for players is that when they travel around the world, they go to so many cities, but they rarely get the chance to explore. And players have been able to get to Rottnest Island, but they won't get to here. This is magnificent. This is the Ningaloo Reef. It's 1,200 kilometres north of Perth. It's a World Heritage Site, and if you love marine biology, this is the place for you. You can swim with whale sharks, humpback whales. It's the breeding ground for loggerhead and green and hawksbill turtles. There's dolphins, dugongs, manta rays. It's all there, and it is unbelievably scenic. And there are so many of these spots around Western Australia if you love to get to the great outdoors. Reflective moment there for Novak Djokovic. What I'm always amazed with, Jim, is how well that these guys, these top players, handle their daily time management. Because even when they've got matches, there's other things to do for sponsors and engagements. And he's so disciplined with the way that he preps, both before matches and after matches, the food, the eating at the right times. They just have it down pat.
Yeah, it's quite incredible to have been doing it for as long as Novak has, to still be fresh and still have the same type of passion for it. Of course, he has big goals. He's already achieved so much, so many records set, but he wants to continue to push the boundaries of what's possible for a male tennis player. And he's got his eyes on playing till he's 40 years old, he says. We'll see. Hopefully we'll be that lucky.
15 love. 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 Game, Team Serbia.
Just clinical tennis from Djokovic today. Sometimes it doesn't really look fancy, but we know how difficult it is to play this well every single point that he does. It's just, it's a joy to watch, really. And one of the things that he brings to it is what so many players could learn from, how to maintain the momentum once they have it in their side of the court, how to keep that pressure on the opponent so they feel there's no way of getting back into a match.
Lehecka just a little too cautious with that approach shot. That's where you have to really rev it up. You've got to pound that approach, because otherwise you're going to be hitting a difficult volley if you're lucky enough to touch the passing shot. That would work against a lot of players on tour, but not the man wearing the red shirt.
Fifteen-all. 30-15. Fourteen, 15.
Well, that's one of those serves, that second serve, it was huge. 208 second serve, but it's just flat. And it doesn't bother Novak at all. It needs to have some spin, some jump to it or some cut to it so it slides into the body. Just came back with interest, that one. If he gets the strings onto the ball, watch out. But that's nicely done. And that's what it takes to win games, but it's Djokovic at a set and 3-2.
Team Serbia lead 3 games to 2.
Vode još malo. Ako. Dobro.
Zkusil jsem to už 4krát jsem šel vzadu. A nebo mi dát krátký jako na téčko, což vlastně je, že mi takhle hodí a jdeme hrát. Protože vlastně já nemám energii na to, abych to kopnul jako strašně moc, takže to rozehraju a pro něj vlastně se nic nemění, protože keď se hraný, že? Což toho můžeme podporu taky využít.
So what do you take out of a match like this if you're Lehecka at this point, Jim? Yeah, you keep pressing yourself. Is it seeing where my levels are actually at?
I think it's so early in the season that everyone's still trying to figure out where their levels are, the mortals, not Novak.
Yeah, of course.
And trying to figure out the things that they've worked on in the offseason. Are they working? But this is the ultimate test. When you play Novak, he exposes your weaknesses. So you actually get a free lesson from Novak on what things you might try and get better. I'd still like to see Lehecka press on the acceleration button here and try and redline his game, push the envelope of what feels comfortable for him and see if he can rattle Novak at all. But you have to do it on the right shots. And so far, Novak is not giving him a lot to hit. Novak's playing with great depth, as he usually does. He's serving like he normally does, 65% first serves in play, so not been opportunities. No break point chances yet for Lehecka, but if he's going to get one, he's going to have to take one, not likely to be given. Something different there, a couple slice backhands. Saw that used to great effect, John Fitzgerald, by Alex de Minaur last night against Taylor Fritz.
Haha. Yes, Jim. I remember that vividly. Well, it's a shot that's not used that much, is it? And you need good technique, similar technique than the backhand volley. Still can be an asset.
Left first service.
Oh, I can do that one.
That was rather strange. He actually hit the ground with his racket there. He just lost his feel on that forehand.
Love 30.
Pretty good slice.
Yeah, the slice backhand has worked now. 2 points in a row, keeping Djokovic off of the offense. And that one, he just misjudged it. He thought he'd missed this ball. He wasn't even playing it. And he's like, oh, I better get back in the point. A couple shots later, his racket would hit the ground before the ball. Right there.
Well, even the greats come off their level
Love 40.
at some point, and this is one of those games from Djokovic. How long does it last, though?
But this is Lehecka's bidding, though. The slice backhands, Todd, that's got to warm your heart.
You're lovely. I love it.
That's what's changed the dynamics in this game. And he overplays that one. Didn't see that this way coming.
No.
Surely Lehecka's got to keep trying the slice if he gets into a neutral rally and has a backhand to hit.
I'll keep in mind, I guess, that it was the slice down the line, which some guys don't find as easy as the one across court, but that's the more standard direction to go. But it's the one down the line from the right-hander to the opposition's forehand.
He rises again, Djokovic.
At 30-40.
Well, Lehecka didn't do too much wrong there. He just got outplayed with sheer pace. Just take a look at the technique on the Djokovic forehand. He falls back a little on that one because it was so deep, but his balance through the hit is always so perfect. Head is steady. 2 or 3 break points saved.
Oops.
He misses. And so we're back on serve. Surprise, surprise. Well done by Lehecka.
Well done by Coach Michael Navratilil. I'm sure he had a big part in that adjustment. Slice backhand really altering the course of that game.
All of a sudden, there's a spring in the step of the young Czech. A glimmer of hope, you would say.
It's really important for him to get a good start in this game because there's no one better in men's tennis than Novak Djokovic, period. And there's no one better at breaking serve after they've lost theirs. He is fiercely determined to take back what was his, and he's often good at it. About 40% of the time when he's broken, he breaks straight away back.
At 30 love.
Dobře.
40 love. At 40-15.
Of course, Novak breaks serve at such a high level last year. Nearly 30% of the time he broke serve, but he breaks at a higher rate in these situations. So this is tremendous to be up 40-15 for Lehecka.
You have to watch out for that backhand down the line of Djokovic. Don't you? It's so hard to pick, though. He has such wonderful preparation, rotates the shoulders, and he can wait to the last second to see if his opponent's leaning one direction or not. Lehecka's making a match of this. This is impressive. Can't believe it, some of the fans, but it is. Team Czech Republic ahead 4-3 now in this second set. Trotsky alluded to this in the opening match. It's a delicate proposition about when you say something to Novak and how much you say. And he's just sort of sitting back there waiting for Novak just to find out what he might like him to say.
Time.
As Mohamed Laouni calls time, Fitzy's involved with a wave going around the stands.
There's some atmosphere here, that's for sure. But I think there's an overriding sort of, well, maybe not a worry, but an overriding concern from a lot of people, including me, that it is a strange mood that he's in, Novak. He's not as buoyant as he was the other night.
Love 15.
I guess you can't feel $1 million every morning when you get up. But he certainly feels, to me, like he's operating on 7 cylinders here rather than 8.
Well, if he felt $1 million, he'd be feeling pretty poor, wouldn't he?
Fair comeback.
Let First service.
Makes that in a week, most times he plays.
This has really turned. Novak, of course, leads the ATP all-time career prize money.
Love 30.
$180 million.
US.
US.
That's 180, right?
180. And the number 2 is Rafa Nadal with $134 million.
Here's a real moment in this match now, guys. Love 30 at 3-4. Lehecka made it hard on Novak. Put that ball down low to the forehand. Novak had to work really hard with that wrist that's bothering him. Get that ball up and down. That's a big point. Big save from Team Serbia.
It's rare you see Novak being pushed around the court now. He's a long way back on the baseline, or behind the baseline.
15-14.
And now, this is 2 break points for Lehecka. He could be serving for the set in a heartbeat here.
This is where Lehecka, if he's watched a lot of Novak's, got to be aware that Novak can surprise in these times. He might serve him volley. You have to watch out for that. He might not, but don't go sleeping on that. What's interesting is Novak famously, when he gets into tie breaks, he plays very cautiously and waits out his opponents and tries to let them beat themselves with mistakes. But when he's down break points in games, he tends to play very offensive.
Oh, Lehecka going toe-to-toe with the world number one. He's got a break and will serve for the second set. Well, he's now feeling comfortable with the pace of the Djokovic ball, isn't he? You can see him growing in confidence.
Yeah, he took it to him there. He started accelerating on the forehand as the point wore on and took dead aim and hit a brilliant down the line winner. Can he close it out? Let's see. Serving for the second set is Jiri Lehecka.
Not what you needed when you had the whole court there. Novak had bluffed and gone back to his right. There was so much space.
Love 30. $15, 30.
You know, to me, it's almost like he gave himself a mental rest. I mean, he was a bit fried mentally there for a while, but seems to have snapped back into third gear mode again. So that first point was big, though, Todd, wasn't it?
Yep.
That open court forehand for Lehecka there and just overplayed it.
Set the tone. Break back points for Djokovic.
Let
Well, that's a poor game when he's serving for the set. Djokovic back in it once more on serve, 5-4. He's asking to hear from the crowd.
balls in, please. Balls in. Team Czech Republic. Lead 5 games to 4.
Well, he loves to bring in the fans into a match, whether it be they're on his side or not. It just seems to inspire him to come out with fire on the court, lifts his adrenaline.
Još čisti kuškis.
Ima moka, jesno? Još iza jedan.
Moks.
Spreman posle servisa. Gotovo sad nove lopte.
Više zlog koristi da govoriš servisa.
To placement malo, placement sam gubio.
Malo previše rukom servira.
Well, order restored here at RAC Arena in Perth. Novak Djokovic had a set in 3-1, and then all of a sudden found himself down 5-3. Lehecka serving for the set.
At time.
So this was Lehecka's response after he broke serve, and all he did there was poke the bear. That was a mistake, and Novak had the word in the next game. You want the crowd? No, they're with me. We'll see how it plays out from now, but that was a rookie mistake from Lehecka playing Djokovic. Keep your head down when things are going well. Do not poke the bear.
Djokovic serving 4-5.
New balls here, Todd, too, which helps the server generally. Well, that's the new balls flying 2 points in a row. That missed by a long way, so a bit faster through the air. You have to shorten your sights a little bit with these new balls, especially in a warm day.
Hoping for an out call earlier in the rally was Djokovic, didn't get it.
13-15.
Just the second ace of the match for Djokovic. 2 aces, 1 double. Steady serving. 62% is the first serve percentage at this point. And that holder serve gets the fans on their feet. Chants of Nole around the stadium.
5 games all.
Can Lehecka maintain his levels?
First serves can go a long way to alleviating the stress for the Czech player. Last season, he served right about the same percentage of first serves that Novak did, 65% throughout the course of the season. That is excellent. But today, like many who played Novak for the first time, he's intimidated by the returns, and he's making far less first serves today on average. It's normal. You try and hit it closer to the lines because Novak, if he gets his racket on it, you're in trouble.
The forehand's gone missing in action, though.
13-15.
When he connects, he thumps that serve. That one, 216, just too shy of his fastest today of 218K. That's big heat.
I thought he'd missed it, but he's just caught it, I think, Fitz.
Gee, Todd, you sound like you've got the yips up there. That was
15.
Yeah, no, he just caught it. He's got a strong overhead, a lot better there than he is on the volley, actually. He really generates a lot of pace with that, too.
So an important hold, well played Lehecka. Keeps the pressure on the world number one. 6-5, second set.
Team Czech Republic leads 6-5.
It's day 5 of the United Cup here in Perth. The tournament being played simultaneously in 2 of Australia's biggest and best cities. We're over in Perth on the west, and Sydney is the host over on the east coast. This is the only match left of the group stage to be played here today. No evening session in Perth. Tomorrow we have the quarterfinals. There'll be a day and evening session. Poland and Australia have won their group here. Serbia trying to see if they can win their group. But for Novak Djokovic, he needs to level this match and win a mixed for that to happen. For the moment, though, he is serving here to stay in this second set. 5-6.
Love. 30 love.
So you want to take into a tiebreak a little momentum, don't you? So this is not a great couple of points from Lehecka here. He kind of needs to get, even if he loses this game to love, but somehow needs to have something positive to take into the opening points. Gone for a bit too much. Okay, that helps. Nicely done.
40-15.
Because Jim's already laid out the type of tiebreak that Novak likes to play. He waits to see what the opponent comes up with, waits to see if they make their own mistakes, and that's been the case in this service game up until that point. And it will be a tiebreak to decide this second set.
And the noise goes up here quite dramatically, Todd, and that'll get his heart rate up a fraction, you would think. So that's just the type of environment I think that can inspire him. You'd expect him to play a good tiebreaker here.
Second set, tiebreak.
The job ahead for Jiri here, serving first.
Going for a cheap point, Jim.
The backhand slice has worked well for Lehecka. The drop shot, not as much. That one
1-0
gave Novak a
Team
chance to
Serbia.
show off how good his volleys have become. Great touch on that one to get the mini break.
That's better.
It's a wonderful bounce back, isn't it? Surprised Novak with that down the line backhand, then took risk and got reward with the forehand.
Very Djokovic structured point, wasn't it? That's why he wins a lot of his own.
A 2-1 Team Serbia. 2-all.
Oh, two big first serves pay dividends, and 221 down the tee from the Czech, just when he needed it.
3-2, Team Czech Republic.
He's got some adrenaline. That's the fastest serve of the day for Jiri.
That's the fastest serve I've seen in the tournament today, here in Perth at least.
Let.
Lehecka very deep for this return. Normally Djokovic goes with a slow rolling second serve when the opponents are that deep.
Not out by much. Doesn't have to be, does it? There's the close call picture.
4-2, Team Czech Republic.
And so players changing ends after 6 points. And the Serbian fans trying to lift their man. It's just that
4-3
moment in time where the forehand lets him down occasionally. Lehecka, it's a weapon, but there's an unforced one hanging in there a little too often. He still has the mini break.
A 5-3, Team Czech Republic.
Gets given an unforced error off the slice again, Jim, from Djokovic this time. What he has brought to this tiebreak is the serve.
Yeah, he's made more first serves than Novak has, and that's been a big difference. With Lehecka standing deep for those second serve returns, he's getting an opportunity to get into the points. He's taken advantage, and can he take advantage of one of these next 3 set points? We'll find out together.
Novak waiting for some people just to come down the stairwell. Right behind Lehecka there. You can see your picture. 3 set points. That's wide.
And second set.
And we've got a third set coming our way. Lehecka for Team Czech Republic takes that second set in 66 minutes. 7 points to 3 in the tiebreak.
Not often you see Novak get pushed into a third set when he's leading 6-1, 3-1. But that's what just happened here. A good change in tactics from Lehecka led to more unforced errors from Novak in that set. And Lehecka played a very fine set of tennis. Some good serving at the right time for the young Czech. Made a big, big difference for him. And able to play a tidier tiebreak. So on we go to a final set. Jiri Lehecka, a 22-year-old, ranked 31 in the world. In his maiden voyage against Novak Djokovic, gets a third set. Can he get a win? That's another question to be answered shortly. But the Czechs, having won the women's singles, feeling a lot better about themselves than they were about 40 minutes ago when they were down a set and 3-1. Djokovic going to receive treatment here. It looks like a medical timeout will just begin right now.
Well, here we are, one set apiece. We didn't expect that. There is no doubt about that at a set in 3-1. But Novak Djokovic has the ATP Tour physiotherapist out doing a little bit of work on the forearm and wrist. Listen in a little bit.
Team Serbia is now receiving a medical timeout.
Okay, there you have it from Mohamed Layani. So we're in a medical timeout as he really gets that the muscle that leads into the joint worked out. It's obviously a fair bit of tension that's muscular, that's pulling on the joints, Jim.
Yeah, he's going to get it massaged. Probably be a little bit of analgesic in that cream that'll just hopefully give him some pain relief. It's a 3-minute opportunity to receive the treatment. He can receive more treatment in another change of ends.
It's gone pretty deep, that thumb, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, Fitzy, you're at the other end of the team zone. You're right behind the Czech team zone. But you said yourself you were a little concerned by the look of this.
Yes, but sometimes you can't tell with Novak. I mean, he's had a history of sort of feeling like not everything's 100% right. If you look back over the journey of his 10 Australian Open championships, a lot of them you were worried that something was amiss, and he finds a way, you know. So ultimately, you always think he is going to find a way. But yes, he's had a frown on his face to a degree. And as Goran mentioned the other day, Todd, you know, sometimes, you know, moods change. Novak's no different to the rest of us. He has different moods some days, and he hasn't looked totally settled today. He's looked a little bit grumpy by his standards, I'd say. But maybe there's something here that's a bit more significant than we think, and that is a worry for all of us if we want to see him for the rest of the summer.
What we do know with Novak is that he will be extremely diligent with whatever this issue is. He has his team with him as well. His own personal physio will do whatever is necessary to make sure that he is tip-top and ready to go when the Australian Open gets underway here in a little over a week's time, a week from Sunday, in fact. So he'll keep his eye on the big prize. Not ideal, but remember, in 2023, he got injured in the finals of Adelaide and still somehow managed to win the Australian Open and was never challenged in the tournament. Just dominated everyone across the net from him. So don't be overly concerned if you are a Novak fan. Hopefully things will be okay. He has as much experience as anyone who's ever played men's tennis in dealing with adversity and dealing with slight physical ailments.
Okay, so we're focused up that end of the court. What about the other end of the court? What about for Lehecka here?
Time.
He's got to maintain the level and intensity. Fitzy?
Well, it's always the thing, isn't it? It's such a relief to finally get a set against a great player. And, yeah, you better not drop off, though. You better be switched on straight away again.
We'll see whether he can bring it It'll be Djokovic to start things here. First game of the third set.
Serbia to serve. Love. A 30 love.
Novak still shaking his wrist out after that last shot.
Yeah, my feeling would be do away with the drop shot, hit the slice down the line instead.
Yeah, that was sort of telegraphed, wasn't it? It was easy to pick that that shot was coming for Novak. He had options what to play.
Game.
With that ace, he seals the opening game of this third set.
The first game, final set.
Just doing a quick search on a wonderful website that's chock-a-block of data called tennisabstract.com, and just plugged in Djokovic's career matches that he's lost by retirement. 14 times that's happened. The last time it was a shoulder injury at the US Open in 2019, where he retired mid-match versus Stan Wawrinka. So it's not often. Over 1,000 matches he's played in his career. Very few times has he pulled the plug mid-match. So it will be a real surprise if that were to be the case today. He's a warrior. He'll tough it out unless it's just too damaging to do so, especially when he's playing for his country.
Left for service.
Goes to that drop shot well again, and it doesn't work once again. One of the longer rallies of the match.
Love 15.
Oh.
Love 30.
Novak made him take his eye off the ball. He was going to go cross-court with it. He could see he was on his way there, try to take it down the line, catches it late. Now he's got an enormous amount of pressure on himself, Lehecka.
Love 40.
And that makes it worse.
That is some smash. My goodness, that was a tremendous lob. Very difficult to judge
15,
that one. So much
14.
hang time, and Lehecka just pummels it into a perfect location.
A 30-40.
Lehecka plays some pretty poor tennis to put himself in love 40, and those are two amazing points to get within one of deuce.
There is the break, though, with a magnificent return from Djokovic.
And the body language there is completely different. He had that not look of arrogance. Well, maybe you could call it
Team
that confidence,
Serbia,
as you would expect from a player of this ilk after hitting that passing shot or that return of serve. Now he's got a different demeanour. The age-old problem of a lower-ranked player going against the higher-ranked player. You play well for one set, but you have to maintain it, because the big guys, they'll play at that level for long periods of time.
Love 15. Fifteen-all. 30-all.
Second double of the day for Novak. Happy with himself. He'd like to keep the pressure on his younger Czech opponent if he could here. Remembering he had a set in 3-1. Asking Goran Ivanisevic for what am I doing on my serve?
I don't think he was asking.
Before the cameras got on to Goran, he was indicating throw the ball up higher. Ball toss.
And it was a better first serve, and he secures the hold and has 3-love final set.
Team Serbia lead 3 games to love.
Znam, brate, ali kad pitam, nije sve okej, šta je se, ako te pitam, nije sve okej.
Ti ništa reći kad je dobar servis, jebe u materalu, 2
Samo si drugi pao, drugi si pao i za njom si furao. Jedino i drugi smio se furao. Sve ostalo...
Dobar servis, mali out. Samo ovaj na 15 situacija prenis, ovo drugo je sve super bilo. Odlično bacanje, odlično serviranje. Ajmo.
They're a passionate bunch.
Yes, dinner could be interesting some evenings, couldn't it, if you get into a bit of a debate amongst them all.
Dole ideš rukom prema naprijed, ne se diža gore.
Goran gone decidedly grey since he's been in that camp. The one thing of Novak Djokovic that stands out with me is he expects perfection from himself and everybody else around him. He stands for nothing less. Effort is important, and you're on the ride with him. It can be a good ride at times, but there can be stresses to go with it. And we saw a little bit of that in that changeover with the coaching team, trying to instill in him that yes, your serve is fine. Just get it in this position, but he's got 3-love final set.
It's amazing, right? I mean, I think most people, when you would look at an athlete of his stature, you know, the greatest in his sport, he's achieved more than any man has and still achieving. And yet he still is seeking perfection. He still needs people around him to tell him what's going wrong. You would just assume from the outside looking in that he knows everything. I remember thinking the same thing about some of the world's great musicians, and you understand this, Todd, with your son pursuing perfection vocally in his life. Even the greatest in their profession still need teachers, outside eyes, to help them see what they can't see. Because he's feeling things, Novak, but he's not seeing things from the outside, and he needs another voice.
Well, from my knowledge of the people that have worked with him, he asks a lot of questions,
15-30.
and he seeks the best advice to get an answer to that. But then you need to prove it to him. And so you may think you have the answer, but he also then will ask you why. Gets a bit of luck with the net cord, but then if he's with you on it, he goes for it, and that's what he's been able to do with these, what we allude to as the
15,
1%ers
40.
in making himself so good, whether it be through food, physiotherapy, fitness, the mind. He has a very holistic approach to not just his tennis, but his life in general. He's got 2 break points for the double break now. And he's well on top.
Team Serbia.
This is the thing, isn't it? Generally, we talk about Novak at Grand Slam saying so hard to beat him over best of 5. Still hard to beat him over best of 3, but you've got a better
Serbia,
chance generally.
4 games to love.
But you can play a really good set comeback like Lehecka has done in the second set. But can he maintain the level required? And he hasn't been able to do that here.
Love 15.
Novak's last service game, he was not happy with his serve. Threw in a double fault, didn't like that. Asked for some input from his team. They gave it to him, but the reality is he's serving better in this set for serves made than he has all match. Still wants perfection. But if you do have a wrist problem, and I've had them over the course of my career, sometimes hitting the flat serve is actually easier on the wrist than having to snap it to create the topspin on this kick serve. That can be more painful. It requires more wrist action, the second serve, than the first. The first serve is powerful, but you go through the ball. You go up and around the ball on the second serve. It's a little more dynamic motion. And it can be a bit more challenging if you have some pain. And Novak clearly does. What he doesn't have right now is pressure on the scoreboard.
By 15, 30.
What he'll want here too is to get this done as quick as he possibly can. No messing about. Get off. They've been out on court 2 hours, 6 minutes already. And I'm betting that he's not coming out for the mix today. What do you feel?
I'd say it's a coin flip. They have a capable player behind him on the team. There's a young rising Serbian player named Hamad Medjedovic, who Djokovic has not only supported from a cheerleading standpoint, he's also financially supported his development. He's good. He's really good.
Novak.
Yeah, 40-30.
This was a good little shot from Lehecka. Fitzy
Well, he actually showed some good feel there, didn't he, on the return drop shot, and it made it awkward for Novak. But yeah, he knows how to stay balanced, doesn't he? Even when most players would lose their balance there on that wide forehand volley.
Just too good there. 5-love, third set. Djokovic leads for Team Serbia.
Appears that Novak wants the physio one last time. This is going to be just on the change of end, so he's hustling onto the court, entering the team zone just now. But he wants one more little splash of treatment to finish this thing off. This is worrying because he's actually testing it.
And normally at this point in a match like this, you've got a fair bit of adrenaline going through your body. You don't feel those as much as you will when you get off the court and start to cool down, or when you come back for the next day. So to be feeling it like he is here, little issue.
Come on. Da?
You're watching the United Cup 2024 edition. Got underway at the back of 2023, but of course we're now into the new year. First matches of the season for all of the players that have come down under.
Yeah, I'm trying to relax it. Yeah, it's okay.
And Novak with a second bit of treatment from the ATP physio on his wrist. It's obviously bothering him a little bit. One of the key things that we haven't seen, though, is, yes, he's shaking his hand out when he's missed a ball or two, but it hasn't seemed to affect any particular stroke production.
Well, I haven't seen a dip in speed on the shots, which would be an indicator that it's a substantial problem. Hopefully it's not. He just needs one more game.
Thank you.
5-love in the final set.
At 15-love. And 15-all. At 13-15. Net first service.
Oh, huge body serve. He was never in complete danger. Novak got a racket on it comfortably, but no way to control the ball. 217 kilometers an hour. Fastest of the day for Lehecka is 221. That one's wide, so he does get a game on the scoreboard in the third set, which will please Lehecka, no doubt. And so it'll be Novak Djokovic to serve here at 5-1 to level this tie between Team Serbia and Team Czech Republic.
Team Serbia is 5 games to 1.
The Wimbledon champion Marketa Vondrousova defeating Olga Danilovic in the first match here today.
Love 15. Fifteen-all.
Fair bit of athleticism on display here from Lehecka. Goes up here, pirouette, and then lays out for that one. Well, easy pickings for the world #1, and he's 2 points away from victory.
And a change up on the first serve. Heavy kick out wide. Draws an unforced error on return. And after 2 hours, 16 minutes, Novak Djokovic has 2 match points. He only needs the one. And Djokovic levels this tie for Team Serbia.
6-7, 6-1.
Well, let's start with Lehecka. A great experience for him to play Novak for the first time. Got to 3 sets. Novak with the win. No surprise there at all, but a surprise that he's dealing with a right wrist injury. And will he be back on court alongside Danilovic for the valuable mixed doubles point? We'll find out.
Well, that's the big question. I mean, the thing is, for all of you that are just joining, Serbia will go through to a quarterfinal here in Perth. It just depends on if they win the group. They would play Australia in that quarterfinal. If they don't win this mixed doubles and finish second, they would end up playing Poland in the quarterfinal tomorrow. So that's how it is all played out here through the group stages at the United Cup for 2024. Novak's done his job by leveling at 1-1, and we'll find out soon enough who'll be coming back out for the mixed doubles. John Fitzgerald is courtside to talk to Novak. He tends to do a bit of housekeeping and take his time. You run at his clock, not Fitzy's, that's for sure.
Overall, the game looks just fine for Novak. No concerns there. He was a little agitated with his serve at times, but even when he's playing his best, he operates on the edge of agitation. It's one of the things that makes him so great is his pursuit of perfection never ends.
And the crowd have got their money's worth here today. 2 3-set singles clashes that have been of very, very good quality. Perfect day for tennis, weather-wise, just an overcast sky here in the west today. Nice temperatures. And there is still more tennis to come here at RAC Arena in Perth. United Cup on in Sydney as well. 3 groups over there, but Novak is just about ready to talk to our very own John Fitzgerald. And here he is.
Oh, man, it's nice to see you.
Thank you, Novak. Well, look, there's a lot of love here, obviously, as you'd expect in Perth for you. They helped you a little bit today, maybe?
Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you for choosing to come, the first days of the new year to watch tennis. We appreciate that very much. Obviously, Australia loves their sports and loves tennis, and Perth has always been a great place to play tennis. This is one of the nicest arenas that I've ever played on, definitely. So thank you very much for coming out and supporting both players.
Novak, you obviously love to play for your home colours, for your home country too. It helps a lot to have all of these boys and girls on the bench, doesn't it? You seem to thrive even more sometimes.
Yes, I do. I mean, it's also more responsibility. I think a bigger burden as well. Especially, if you're playing in this kind of format. If you're playing second match and you're playing 0-1, obviously even more pressure that you have to win. So we're still in the tournament. If we win the mixed doubles, we'll get into the quarters, and we'll try to do that. It's a great team spirit. We're building a great chemistry these days. We're giving it all. It's always the greatest honor to represent your country. And I want to thank, of course, all the Serbian people who came out today as well, who live here in Australia to support. Hvala vam puno. Hvala vam na podršci.
I know you want to go quickly, mate, so thank you for talking to us. I need to ask you about the wrist. It looked a little bit sore.
Yeah, it did, but, I kind of managed to play it through, and it's not the first, neither the last time. These things happen. You just have to manage. You have to find a solution, and yeah, thankfully I managed to finish the match, and let's see what happens now.
Well done, mate. You coming out for the mixed?
Thank you.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Thank you, Novak.
Well, our investigative journalist, John Fitzgerald, probing the world #1 to find out if he'll be out for the mix. Didn't sound completely convincing to me, Jim.
Well, time will tell. Won't be too long before both teams reassemble on the court for the decider. Novak's going to send some love up into the crowd. A couple of signed tennis balls, which will be of great value. Happy to throw them up with the right hand. We'll see if he's happy to come back out and play and try and secure the victory for Serbia today. I'm with you. Not too convinced he will. The good news is they do have a good option with the youngster Medjedovic available as needed. Todd, take us through the stats, please.
Well, let's have a look. I mean, serving always is key, and you've been tracking Novak Djokovic's serve statistics for years and years, and he always sits in and around that mark, just above the 60% mark. But what he does well is when he gets that serve in, he wins almost 3/4 of the time, and that was what he was able to do today. We know he doesn't give points up for free very often at all, and the unforced error count, as it sort of always is with him, he's lower than his opponent, 36-20, and that's a significant difference. Forehand is one of the great strengths of Novak, 10 winners to 4 off the backhand. But he would have liked to have got that match done quicker today, remembering that he was up a set and 3-1. Regardless, though, the champion that he is, he found a way to get it done in 3 sets. 6-1, 6-7, 6-1. And Team Serbia are tied at 1-1 here at the United Cup.